Hey there, my name is Cole Adams, and you are watching the best college basketball podcast out there that covers the entire sport of college basketball, brackets, bubbles, and bid stealers. Now, here are your hosts, Sam Federman and Jonathan Lidskin.
Season 6, episode 99 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers. I am Sam Federman. That is Jonathan Lidskin. Jonathan, it's time to do the exercise that we've been waiting all year to do.
At long last, man. At long last. Got my piece of paper right here that has a bunch of teams on it. I have my pen of choice right here.
Every year, I buy a brand new
pen. My pen of choice.
Every year, I try and buy a brand new pen to fill out a bracket with.
That's kind of sharp. I wish that's something I would have thought.
By the way, when I say every year, this is the first year I've done it.
So here's my question for you. NCAA tournament Thursday morning. What time do you usually wake up?
Well, I have work tomorrow.
So you'll be up.
I will be up all morning.
How are you going to watch the games?
I'll find a way.
Okay. That's tough break. I got to work for an hour tomorrow, but it's during the dead period.
So look. I'll be in the building in Philly on Friday. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. You ready to get started?
Yes. Jonathan, the first thing that we've got to do is we've got to circle the we've got to shout out the first four winners so far.
Yes, we do. Howard,
good work. Just total wagon over the last month and a half.
Mm-hmm. Clearly the best team in the MEAC.
By a significant margin. So I'm glad that they got this win. I would have been glad for UMBC to get a win too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Texas, both teams gave that game away. Texas just gave it away less. And then Prairie View. Shout out. Yeah. Bryce Harris, really good. Cam Gillis. I mean, this Howard team rocks over the last month, and then Texas was unwatchable. I hated that game. This Miami game
was a really watchable final 4 minutes.
This Miami game has maybe been the most watchable game of the year, and they go immediately to Bruce Pearl on the halftime show. Wonder what he's got to say.
Yeah,
don't care.
Quite fun.
Let's get started, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Would you like to do the honors?
Duke Siena?
Unfortunately, it can't be Jersey Day this year. Usually we try and do Jersey Day for this show. I don't have any jerseys with me.
I didn't think about that. Did not think about that. Let's start. Duke Siena.
I'm going to go with the Saints now. I'm picking Duke. Unfortunately, it's just a really tough draw for Siena. The way I see this, this could be like a mega blowout if Duke gets Siena in foul trouble because the Saints don't have any backup bigs. It's just Folafak and Riley Mulvey. Siena is good at not fouling, and that's kind of helped them succeed over the course of the year when they've been down guys. But, it's Duke. It's Cam Boozer, even without Gungba. And the one thing I will say is, if we look up and Brendan Coyle has 5 threes in the first half, maybe it's a competitive game for the first 20 minutes. Brendan Coyle has not been making a ton of threes like that this year, though. So who knows? Hopefully, Siena can keep it close for at least 5 minutes.
Logan asked what kind of pen. I have a Pilot G207.
Bic.
Classic. Mine's a ballpoint, I believe.
It's a good choice.
So, all right. Now we're going to get into the fire.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear your thoughts on the Duke Siena game.
We're way more talented. We don't need to, go 9 rounds here. Duke down 2 starters is a 25-point favorite, I think, in this game. So, like, it's just, never once thought to pick Siena. Never will once think to pick a 16 seed to win. I'll say the same thing about the 15 seeds. Siena's a good mid-major. They should not have been a 16 seed, but they're playing a wagon here.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on.
Now let's get into the fire.
All right, Jonathan, let's start.
Let's first go over some history here. Since we started tracking this, Sam Federman is 2-0 in our first.
What was it 3 years ago?
Huh?
What was it 3 years ago in 23?
Didn't you beat me 2-1 or something like that?
What did we do differently that year?
We don't have that many different picks. I know you had St. Mary's or you had Grand Canyon and I had St. Mary's.
No, that was 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went 3-0 that year. Grand Canyon, Utah State, and Washington State.
Yeah, so I didn't get a single one right over you. Last year I improved. I went 2-3. This year we take the crown.
So, all right, let's see what happens. Jonathan?
Ohio State TCU. I understand the matchup advantages that TCU has here, doing some fairly unique things in ball screen defense that Ohio State may have not seen. But I think Ohio State, the level they're playing at right now, the guards they have, I trust them more here. I don't know if I know Ohio State defense is not good, but I don't think TCU is going to be able to score enough points to win this game.
I think that's fair, but the way I see it, Ohio State essentially needs John Mobley to hit 6 threes, 5 threes. And TCU is good at kind of recovering on that. I don't think TCU is not aggressive in terms of recovering off of ball screens, even after they've hedged, after they've doubled. They're really good at that aspect of the game. TCU ball pressure is going to force the ball out of Thornton's hands. Teams don't run ball screens and have their ball handler score against TCU. I think they were last in the Big 12 in PNR ball handler possession rate. And the teams that are good in the Big 10 at limiting PNR possession rate, they all held Thornton to slower games the first time they saw them. Penn State, 9 points. Iowa, 10 points. Ohio State had chances in those games because of Mobley's shooting. But TCU is second in the Big 12 in guarded catch-and-shoot defense rate. They recover well. They do really well with off-balls. They do really well with off-ball screens, too. Again, I'm not sure how much TCU scores in this game. But, like, if they only need to put up 70 points, I like that because they can grab a ton of offensive rebounds. That's their game. I trust them to do that. Micah Robinson, David Punch, Xavier Edmonds, 3 of the best defenders in the country in my eyes. And they have those guys will be rotating in different spots. You mentioned earlier in the week that Brock Harding, you're going to have to hide him. I don't think you need to play him 30 minutes. I think you can play Toulson.
Pierre at the 1.
Yeah, you can play Pierre at the 1 and Toulson and Toulson in those lineups and figure things out with the other 3 guys. I don't think you need 35 minutes of Brock Harding. And even if you do, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because I think that the help defense that TCU has, the off-ball defenders, are so good. And honestly, just get offensive rebounds.
I think
TCU does not need a 50% effective field goal percentage to win this game, even if they allow 70 points.
I think even if you play great defense and you're choosing to play Jaden Pierre, more than you, I guess, at the 1 than you usually would, I think it severely limits what you can do offensively. Harding is one of the best playmakers in this tournament from a point guard perspective. And this is not...
I still think he's playing 25 to 30 minutes.
This is not a TCU team that has a bunch of great individual shot creators. They rely
But that's the thing about TCU. They don't create offense through shot creators. They create offense through offensive rebounds and
through Brock Harding.
Yes.
They're 63rd nationally in assist to field goals made ratio. Like Brock Harding is the engine that makes this offense go if they cannot get offensive rebounds.
No, I think they can get offensive rebounds is the thing. They were a very, very good offensive rebounding team. And Ohio State was 13th. Ohio State was 13th in the Big Ten in defensive rebounding rate. They were 14th in the Big Ten in free throw rate defense. TCU was second in the Big 12 in free throw rate defense. So Ohio State's defensive weaknesses align with TCU's offensive strengths. And if that's the side of the ball that TCU struggles on, I will like that matchup.
I think TCU is a good offensive rebounding team. I don't think it's something where it'll win them the game. I think if TCU wins this game, it's because they have really good defensive game plan for Thornton and Mobley.
Well, yeah, I think that's what they have.
And they turn Ohio State over,
which I think they will do.
I do not.
That's what they do. They force turnovers. They force turnovers. They play ball pressure. I know Ohio State is a good offensive team, and I know that they don't turn it over all that much, but they still turned it over at the rate about 10th in the Big Ten, around midway through that league. And TCU is top 20 in the country, top 30 in the country in turnovers forced. I'm going with TCU here. They play up to good competition, and I'm going with the Frogs.
Ohio State.
Okay, that's fine. You can do it. It's an 8-9 game. It's a coin flip.
Why are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you. It's a coin flip for a reason. That's what an 8-9 game is.
Did you see what David Punch said today? I think this was real.
What did he say?
He said we beat them 9 times out of 10.
I did not see that.
Tomorrow's going to be the one.
Okay, that's fair. You can say that if you want.
It won't be 5 minutes per first round game, Jack. St. John's, Northern Iowa might be 5 minutes, though.
Are you picking Northern Iowa?
No.
Okay, then.
I don't think Northern Iowa can score enough. Like, plain and simple. This team could have a 6-7 minute offensive drought tomorrow, and that could be it. I think Northern Iowa matches up well. They play a really solid pack line. They take you out of transition. They're really good defending the rim and preventing rim attempts. Everything that St. John's usually does to beat teams. But, we have the don't pick against athletic high majors rule for a region. And I don't think Northern Iowa is going to be able to score enough.
St. John's does really well against bad offenses. I think I mentioned this on the Bracket Bible show yesterday, but they have not lost to an offense outside of the top 40. They can dominate it inside with physicality, even against the pack line. I think they'll be able to kind of break through a little bit. Game might be in the 60s. This might be in the 60s.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be pretty by any means.
This game might be in the 60s, but I don't know if Northern Iowa gets to 60.
We got 16 games tomorrow. I would be pretty shocked if this is in the most watchable of them.
Yeah. I think that it'll be an uphill climb for Northern Iowa to get to 60. Their magic number is 65 to 70 probably, and I think they have a good chance. But even then, we've seen St. John's explode for big offensive performances. I think that they are just too physical, too athletic, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Kansas Cal Baptist?
Yeah, let's do it.
You start on this one.
So my notes here, they start with basically put size on Dom Daniels, and Kansas has size in the backcourt. Mm-hmm. Elite pick and roll defense. Cal Baptist is all pick and roll offensively. I just don't see how Cal Baptist is scoring in this game unless Dom Daniels is making crazy step backs, and I'm never one to pick a guy to make crazy step backs.
Is that enough to even win them the game?
Probably not.
No, I don't think this is going to be particularly close. I love Dom Daniels. He's a tremendous player. I wanted to see Utah Valley out of the WAC.
Yeah, I think Utah Valley's the better team. By the way, they were like up 1 on GW in the last minute of that game. Did they end up winning?
I'm not sure.
Because GW is a corpse. That team kind of stinks. Oh no, yeah. GW won at Utah Valley. Shout out!
Wow, good win.
Good for them. Wake Forest won. Illinois State killed Kent.
Is Bradley getting killed?
Yeah, they're down 16.
Okay. Yeah, Illinois State beating Kent by 20 plus.
I had Kent winning that game.
A surprise to even me.
Yeah. So give me Kansas here. I mean, there's a blueprint to stopping Dom Daniels, I think, if you have athleticism. We saw Utah Valley do it for 38 minutes. And something tells me this game won't be like a 3-point game that Dom Daniels can just make a couple step back threes after not scoring in the first 38 minutes.
Yeah, this is an easy Kansas pick for me. Never once thought.
Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, it's not even like a Darren Peterson who's going to go off thing. It's not even that. It's like a
no. I think Kansas can throw just so much at Daniels.
Does Darren Peterson need to play more than 25 minutes in this game?
Probably not. I don't think
this is the most lopsided 4-13.
Also, the one other thing that like I will mention is like Cal Baptist is like really good at like running you off the line and preventing threes. And I don't think that's necessarily something that like plays into the weaknesses of Kansas as a team.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need to shoot a ton of threes. Like that is a team that
like I think Kansas is going to pound it inside, get to the line a bunch, like get their wings and guards downhill.
I agree.
All right. Here's another fun one. Louisville, South Florida.
All right, you want to start?
Yeah, this is pretty simple for me. South Florida's good. I think they're a talented team. They're well coached. But even without Mikal Brown, Louisville doesn't lose to teams that they're worse than, or that they're better than, excuse me. I think that like I still trust Louisville enough without Brown to, be able to come out and play their style. Conwell will be dominating the ball. They have other weapons too to score the basketball. South Florida's obviously more athletic than your typical mid-major, which scares me a little bit, admittedly. But I also think that their fast tempo isn't exactly, suiting them well in a game against a Louisville team that wants to play fast and run up the shot volume.
Okay, it's great that you mentioned shot volume, because do you know who's one of the best shot volume teams in the country?
South Florida.
South Florida. Do you know what
the rate 7th?
Do you also know what the quality of those shots are? It's rim and it's three. And they are the more, to me, they are the more athletic team in this game. I think Isaiah Nelson is the most athletic player on the floor. I think he's the best defender on the floor on either side. We've seen Josh Omojafo get to the line all season long. We've seen Nelson get to the line all season long. CJ Brown get to the line all season long. I don't think Louisville is this super stout physical defense. Again, they don't foul a ridiculous amount, but they were 10th in the ACC in foul rate. Sure, they are a good team at getting. They are also very rim and three oriented. I will give them that. But they just jack up so many outside shots that essentially they're the same team no matter what. And if the shots go in, they win. If they don't, they lose. To me, I can't predict whether the shots are going to go in or not. But I can predict that South Florida is going to get better quality shots. And I can predict that South Florida is going to get more offensive rebounds. And I can predict that South Florida is going to get more free throws. And I can predict that South Florida is probably going to win the turnover battle too.
You made some really good points there. Really good stuff from you. I don't think Louisville is a bad defensive rebounding team at all. I actually think
they're not. They're actually a good one.
Pretty good at it. So,
but I think that's kind of South Florida's thing. I think they're really, really athletic, crashing the glass.
What concerns me here is if Louisville starts turning it over, because these guards for South Florida. You're talking about Wes Ennis. You're talking about CJ Brown. They're fast, and if you start doing live ball turnovers and they're getting out in transition and, you're losing possessions, like that's where you're going to lose the game. That's the one thing I think that worries me about this. I expect this to be fun.
The more close shots Louisville gets up, the more of a chance that they will have to make more shots.
Yeah. I expect it to be fun. I expect it to be close. We go over this. In reality, it could end up being just, who makes more shots tomorrow.
Here's what I'll say. Louisville is 3-8 against top 50 defenses. South Florida's a top.
South Florida's got a top,
40.
Yeah, right.
That's just what I'm going to say here.
Who are the three they
Louisville has struggled against the best and most athletic defenses they've played against. South Florida is a good and athletic defense. and maybe that affects the shot quality in terms of whether they're going to make their threes on this given night. And again, I'm never going to be able to project whether Louisville is going to make their threes or not. This is not as easy of a pick as it was last year when I picked Creighton in 10 seconds.
So the 3 top 40 defenses that they've beaten, by the way, Cincinnati, Kentucky, Miami, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking Louisville. This is going to be a fairly boring first round segment from me, but we'll kick things into gear.
Michigan State, North Dakota State, Jonathan. Anything interesting for you?
Don't really have anything of note here. I think North Dakota State is a good team, but I think they are, a good Summit League defense, and that's about it. Like that's what I can say about their defense.
Okay, what I want to say about North Dakota State: if you are physical, athletic, and good on the glass in the Summit League, and not a complete pulp on the offensive side of the ball, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah. So I think
that's exactly what this North Dakota State team did all year. Trayson Anderson, Noah Federson, Damari Wheeler-Thomas, Trevian Carson, like physical guys, Markai Strickland, physical guys at that size. They have a big front court for that league with Federson and Anderson. Strickland's physical. Carson and Wheeler-Thomas are good players. But in that league, it doesn't take a lot to win as a physical team because nobody's physical. You just have to be decent offensively, and they're actually pretty good offensively for that league. They got so many offensive rebounds. They're number 1 in that league in offensive rebound rate. They're number 1 in that league in defensive efficiency, number 1 in that league in blocks. And they're number 2 in offensive efficiency. I want to shout them out because I feel like we didn't talk about them enough this year. But big boys.
Yeah,
you're going to the big boys.
No real worries here for me. Don't think
I'm going Michigan State, and I don't think it's going to be particularly close.
Yeah, don't think this team has enough athletes to contain Jeremy Fears and ball screens.
Yeah, and like everything that I just said, North Dakota State does well. Michigan State's one of the best rebounding teams in the country.
UCLA, UCF. This has potential to be one of the easiest 7-10 picks ever. There's not a single point this week where I thought about picking UCF. Not a single one. Even with UCLA's concerns. The only way I would have picked UCF in this one is if we had found out that both Dent and Bilodeau weren't playing.
Yep.
All I needed was one of them to play. UCLA is playing at a top 20 level since the start of February. UCF has been not a top 50 team most of the year. The really only good stretch of the season UCF had is when they had some insane shooting variance luck at the start of the year. Don't think this is a good UCF team. Fairly good draw here in the first round for UCLA.
UCF is a terrible ball screen defense. I was looking at their synergy numbers. Let me pull this up. I didn't write down the synergy numbers, but I wanted to. Let me see if I can pull this up. Jonathan, talk for a second.
Yeah. So my one other funny note, I guess, from this is like UCF can be chaotic and like play fast, especially offensively. Are there like quick shots that they take going to force, UCLA into playing in a way that is more beneficial for Donovan Dent?
I feel like we've talked about this like 5 times.
It was something I mentioned on.
I feel like we've talked about this in like 5 different UCLA matchups.
We probably have. Like Cronin has let Donovan Dent beat Donovan Dent in the last.
They've been playing slow, but it's been his show.
Yes, he has let him be the ball dominant point guard that he was at New Mexico. They've put him in ball screen situations. It's been a much more productive offensive month for him, and I think it continues here, even with the injury concern.
Yeah. What I'll say is 18th percentile pick and roll defense for Central Florida.
Not ideal.
UCLA is just an unbelievable pick and roll offense because they have Dent and Bilodeau. Incredible pick and pop duo. Bilodeau should be back. Dent playing incredible. I like this matchup. What is the path to a UCF win here?
Hit a bunch of threes, get up early, and kind of force UCLA, maybe to panic. Because I think, Cronin's got a point guard that's fast and is comfortable playing fast, but he wants to play slow, and he always does. So if UCF takes a lead early, maybe UCLA doesn't get, the comfort that they want here, and they have to play from behind. Yes.
I will be at this game. I will be sitting. we will be seated, and not in a good way. We will be watching the other games at this point.
Oh, excellent.
What are the other games on at this time? Oh, this is the first game of the night session.
Yeah, it's because UConn's the late game.
We will be watching Iowa Clemson and Northern Iowa State.
Okay, yeah, that's a good session from what I remember. All right,
it's a shame because the best session of games is tomorrow, the early session.
All right, I'm gonna say
Ohio State, South Florida, Louisville, Troy, Nebraska, and High Point, Wisconsin.
I'm gonna say this: UConn, Furman. Furman wants to be like a rim and 3 team, and UConn is a unbelievable rim and 3 defense. It is like the worst possible matchup for Furman. I think the one strength that they have is like totally going to be taken away by UConn.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the sneaky, difficult scout, just don't think it actually means that they're going to give UConn any trouble.
Yeah, I don't think UConn maybe this game is a little closer because UConn's trying to not show their hand and their sets before the second round. So, yeah, maybe that's the only theory I have here.
Man, this time of year, everything should just be automatic like this. Dan Hurley in that Stetson halftime interview, and they were up 30, and he's just like, everything sucks.
Yeah. So, Sam, I have a very particular way of doing this. The way you are when you handwrite a bracket, and even really when you do it, online in some aspects, you go round by round, and you go in the way the bracket was revealed.
So the West region.
Yes.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. That is... You might be.
Some terrific shouts in the chat this evening.
Yeah, it always is on this show.
We've got a great chat tonight.
So we have
I gotta say though, I don't think it's been as good of a chat as last year.
Oh, dude, the night is still young. We've got plenty of time.
I mean, we've only done one region and we've only done the first round for it.
So since we banned Fins Up on this podcast.
When did we ban Fins Up?
You banned it earlier today.
No, I didn't.
You said we were done with Fins Up because LIU was going to shoot 5 free throws.
No, I didn't ban it. I just said that they're not going to be able to do it.
Well, I say we put Arizona through here and get a move on.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to give my take on that game that I don't think Long Island will be doing Fins Up very much. I do not think they will be taking very many free throws because, first of all, they don't take a ton of free throws in general. Second of all, Arizona doesn't foul. Third of all, LIU's free throws, a lot of them come from offensive rebounds that they're not going to be getting in this game.
All right, who's ready to see a Mountain West team win an NCAA tournament game by 15 points?
There's a first time for everything, Jonathan.
Think Utah State can throw some unique things at them defensively? I think Villanova has been absolutely brutal since Matt Hodge has gotten hurt.
This is the thing, it's really not that. It's really that they had a brutal performance in the conference tournament, and they were fine.
Brutal.
They were fine the first 2 games without Hodge, but it wasn't impressive. And they've been very bad in big games all year.
They've been horrible against basically every non-corpse that they've played this year.
Essentially, yeah. Wisconsin's the only non-corpse that they've beaten.
My father is calling me right now, so you keep talking.
This is my most confident, like, 116. This is one of my most confident picks of the entire tournament. Matt Hodge is so important to what Villanova does defensively against good wings. What are Utah State's two best scorers? Kind of smaller wings, MJ Collins and Mason Falslev. Do I think Bryce Lindsey and Devin Askew are going to be able to guard MJ Collins and Mason Falslev? I absolutely do not. I will be taking Utah State in this game. I don't even think Utah State is like that good. I think they probably peaked early in the year. But this Villanova team, man, they got pounded the last two times they played against remotely decent teams. The last two times they played, Villanova has beaten one at-large all year. But shout out, they beat Penn and Queens, two teams that actually made the NCAA tournament. So they beat 3 NCAA tournament teams this year.
Yeah.
Now, it's not like Utah State has beaten this wide array of NCAA tournament teams either. That is kind of an interesting thing. Like I don't think they beat a single at-large all season. But I think that the Mountain West had a few like fringe at-larges. And they beat New Mexico twice, including by 20 at the pit. San Diego State twice. Colorado State, they beat twice by double digits. They beat Boise State twice. They beat Illinois State. They beat VCU. So it's not like, again, they haven't beaten an at-large, but they also haven't played at-larges. So it's not like they are this team that just didn't get the chance to so it's not like they're this team that just has been completely bad against good teams. And I think Villanova's just straight bad right now.
Yeah, bad basketball team. Utah State, I think, is, they had a bit of a rough patch, but have been a pretty solid team all year. And this is, just a team that's beat up, not playing well against a team that I think can play up. So, Utah State.
All right, Jonathan, you want to move on to the next one?
High Point's not going to get stops.
I turned on some. I try and turn on like at least some film for every mid-major team. Even when I watch their games throughout the season, but I try and. The first play that I turned on, and I sent you this earlier today, Jonathan. I sent you this video that I had from earlier of the Winthrop guard on the first play of the game, just like totally dusting the High Point big in like a higher drop. And I'm just like, this is like a layup line for Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think Boyd and Blackwell don't even need, screens or anything special here. Like, they're going to be able to get to the rim and get to the line when they want.
Yeah, and the lane opens up when you pull Winter and Wrap out of the paint. When you do the ball tomorrow. Like, Wisconsin might this game might be played like 88-76, but like Wisconsin will be up double digits the whole game.
Nolan Winter, I think, is probably playing tomorrow.
I would assume he's playing.
They said they're very optimistic about him playing tomorrow. Yeah, so just, to add one more thing from this, because I don't have much else. This is my survivor pick tomorrow. So, Wisconsin is. So, that should show you how confident I am.
I did do this. I actually did do this. I did show you 2013-14 Sacramento State women's film.
Why? Was Mike Bibby coaching?
No, somebody was coaching. I forget who. All right, Jonathan. Arkansas, Hawaii.
Hawaii's no-help defense is going to be a problem against an Arkansas team that has two guards that can really penetrate and get in the lane.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, just kind of a tough draw. Arkansas is the best ISO scorer in the country, in my opinion, and Darius Acuff. I do think there's a scenario where they just kind of like say, all right, like we're going to be so committed to this bit that like Acuff will score 40, like we will face guard everyone else and like nobody else will touch the ball.
I don't think that'll work against an Arkansas team that is way more athletic than them.
Yeah, and like maybe that works, but maybe it gets them blown out by 70. Mm-hmm. Like that's like the only two possible ways that this could go. I think Arkansas wins pretty handily in this game. And even I don't think Hawaii can score. Like, I don't see them scoring in this game. Oh, the Miami University swim team is there in Speedo. All right, Jonathan, Texas BYU.
This is my only double-digit seed that I am picking to win in their first round.
I too am picking the Longhorns, Jonathan.
I'm releasing a article that is scheduled to come out 7 a.m. tomorrow. 8
You're releasing an article?
Yes. How about that, right? It's a 5 hot takes for the NCAA tournament this year. And my first one is the only one that is actually reflected in my bracket, and it's that only one double-digit seed wins their first round game this year. Texas is that one. Some statistics for you. In the last 5 NCAA tournaments, so in the 2020s, on average, 6.8 double-digit seeds have advanced out of the first round. In those 5, in that same time span, 1.410 seeds on average have advanced out of the first round. And that includes 1 in each of those 5 tournaments. So I'm playing against math here. But
I do have a couple more double-digit seeds advancing, by the way.
This is the one that I have moving on. I think Texas is absolutely going to be able to keep pace offensively. I think they can get a thin BYU team in foul trouble. And I think that BYU is a completely one-dimensional and not as good team without Richie Saunders.
By the way, this Miami game is still completely electric.
I'm pulling it up on my phone.
It's a 3-point game.
March Madness Live. Oh, if I have to sign into my...
All right, what I will say is that I like Texas in this game. This will be a parade to the free throw line on both sides, in my opinion, like every Texas game is. AJ DeBonsta might attempt 15 free throws. he really might.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Texas is the better rebounding team. Texas is the better rebounding team. Texas is the more physical team. Even a bad playing Texas team, I think, is good at winning the free throw battle and the rebound battle. And I think that's going to be enough for them to win this game against a BYU team that hasn't been good in 2 months.
Yeah, correct. Agree with you. Texas. Hook 'em to the second round.
Are we actually going to do hook 'em horns on the pod?
Hook 'em.
We usually do horns down on the pod.
We can do horns down in the second round.
Okay. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. Got anything interesting?
Kennesaw State's fun because they lost their best player midseason to a gambling investigation and made the NCAA tournament anyway. But Gonzaga has never struggled with mid-majors under Mark Few, with teams much better than the one they have now. Not to say that this is a bad Gonzaga team, because it's certainly not. But even without Braden Huff, don't think this is going to be an issue. Gonzaga's defense is too good. Kennesaw State also likes to play fast. Not usually a great recipe if you want to upset someone. Anything to add, Federman?
I actually kind of think Kennesaw is interesting.
Okay.
But, like, not in this matchup.
Is there a free seed who you would have considered picking them to beat?
No. There's none. But it's just like, I think they're an interesting team because you don't usually see mid-major conference champions built like them. Usually the mid-major conference champions
Usually mid-major conference champions don't lose their best player to a gambling investigation mid-season.
My point is, I don't think that like mid-major conference champions usually tend to be you usually tend to have like the level of offensive rebounding and free throw offense that Kennesaw has. Like the problem is they are a freaking horrible post defense. Graham Ike will score 35 points in this game.
Graham Ike will score 30.
And I just don't know if Kennesaw will score. Like stick Innocenti on RJ Johnson and have Tyon roaming the paint. Kennesaw's not breaking 65. Gonzaga will score 90. Like this is going to be a 25-point game. What's the line? What's the spread?
21.5, I think.
Okay, yeah, that seems fair.
KenPom has it at 20.
Yeah.
I don't know how Missouri is going to beat Miami, even in a home environment, if they lose the rebound and turnover battle in severe fashions.
Yeah, and that's the interesting. Like, I do think Mizzou is like kind of decently suited to guard Malik Reneau.
Yeah, you have Mark Mitchell there.
But like as you mentioned, what are the two levers on this game math-wise? It's the rebounds because Miami's not a good outside shooting team. It's the rebounds and it's the turnovers. Miami probably wins both of them. Miami maybe needs to make a couple of outside shots. You don't need to make a ton. Just get a couple of them.
I think if you're Missouri, your really only hope on the glass is if Sean Phillips doesn't get in foul trouble for the first time all year.
I agree.
This was fairly easy for me. Missouri has been playing better, but I don't think they are a good basketball team.
I've kind of been on this for like the last 4 years now. I've never really thought Mizzou was that good under Dennis Gates.
The one thing that now listen, Dennis Gates making 3 tournaments in his first 4 years is good, especially where the program was at before. His teams are much better and much better coached than Konzo Martin's teams. Not saying a whole ton, but just wanted to point that out. But the one thing that Missouri's, bad defenses under Dennis Gates usually can hang their hat on is that they turn you over. And they don't do that this year.
They're a better defense, but like they don't have an identity on defense.
Yeah. Better individual defensive players.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
My other kind of note on this game to me right now is just that I don't like the Mizzou guards that much.
Well, Tio Barrett's a non-shooter, so he's sort of, as good as he is as a playmaker and defender, he sort of limits what you can do offensively because, he's basically freshman year Tim and Lipsy, where you can go under every ball screen, and just as long as you keep him out of the lane, you're probably okay defending him. And, Donaldson's a good defender.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Donaldson is one
8-0 run Redhawks.
Bang! Yeah, I like this Miami team. I've liked them all year. I mean, they're for a 7-10 game being 21 spots higher in KenPom. That's pretty crazy. Would also say True Washington is like an awesome defender too. Like you didn't mention him. Shelton Henderson has been really, really good on the defensive side of the ball. This Miami team has come along to being a terrific defensive team, in my opinion. They're 38th in defense. I'm not sure there's 25 defenses I'd take over them.
Yeah, they certainly profile.
They passed the eye test. They passed the eye test.
A lot better than they do statistically.
Purdue Queens.
Anything on this?
I'm not sure that Queens.
Purdue's been prone to upsets under Matt Painter, but
I'm not sure if Queens will get a single stop. Like Purdue might score on every possession.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 45-41 at halftime because Ashby and the Queens guys make a ton of threes. But Purdue by 20 and probably 30.
Yeah. Not much else for me. Anything on Michigan Howard?
Hey, Kevin Sweeney tweeted that Howard will that he can't say that Howard won't win.
Fair enough. I'm taking Michigan.
Yeah, I'm taking Michigan too. Sorry, Howard. Those are my only notes.
So this next one is interesting to me because Georgia has been picked by a lot of smart people who I read their work.
Yeah, a lot of ball knowers are picking Georgia.
St. Louis has been downright awful since February started, but I think this is a bad matchup. I think Robbie Avila can drag Cyril out of the paint. I think St. Louis's perimeter defense is good enough to contain the two Georgia guards. And I think that this is a maybe biggest coaching mismatch of the first round.
I agree on coaching mismatch. What I'll say is, you mentioned Cyril out of the paint. What is Georgia's entire defense centered around, Jonathan?
What is Georgia's entire defense centered around? Sam,
It's centered around Samto Cyril's rim protection. It's centered around Samto Cyril's rim protection.
I would be.
It's not a good defense whatsoever. They don't get rebounds. They don't affect outside shots. But what they do really well is they block shots. They force turnovers.
Listen, I was on record when he was in high school with, when we talked about Cyril, that I thought he was an NBA prospect. Defensively, he's excellent.
I think he is an NBA
But they have
prospect.
nobody else on this team that guards.
No, nobody.
And as good as Cyril is on the glass, he doesn't really rebound that great for his size.
It's just a shame because you look at last year's Georgia team and how physical they were top to bottom.
And this SMU team is so bad. Holy cow.
And then you look at this year's Georgia team, and they're still physical. Like Dylan James, Kareem Stagg, Cannon Catchings. These guys have Justin Abson, these guys all have a level of physicality to them. I even think Jordan Ross has a level of physicality to him that he's kind of developed. But, they're not good. They're not good at defense.
Last year, Georgia had an NBA post player that was advanced offensively.
They had a superstar. They had one of the best players in the country in Asa Newell.
And they still got absolutely blasted in the exact same spot in the bracket, by the way.
Yeah, give me St. Louis. Avila can drag Cyril out of the paint. And the other thing that I want to mention about this game is I know St. Louis hasn't been very good defensively over the last month. But this is a team that has good defensive players.
Yeah.
And I trust Josh Schertz in this setting to get these guys to show up, have a good game plan, get them 5 days off here and get them set to go.
SLU's defense is weighted down by their fouling. They foul way too much. Georgia's
they've also just been a bad defense over the last month.
This is true. Georgia is also not a team that gets to the line. They were 14th in the SEC in free throw rate. So I don't think that's something they'll be able to take advantage of. Do you know how bad you have to be to get me to root for this Miami team?
They're awful, man. This SMU team lied to get in the tournament, and they're getting smoked.
Miami is kicking their ass.
SMU
13-point game.
SMU lied. Edwards died. I'm tweeting that.
And Rosengard, who I think was in here, he was in here briefly earlier.
Lied. Edwards died.
Not sure if he still is here, but
Miami up 13.
He texted earlier that Miami can win the national title if they shoot like this, and I said, yeah, they can win the national title if they play SMU 6 more times.
Great.
All right,
I really hope that the Enfield lied, Edwards died tweet does well.
My favorite quad of the entire tournament right here. Texas Tech, Akron, Hofstra, Alabama. All electric offenses with electric guards.
Talk about it.
So I think this is probably the most dangerous 5-12 upset just because Texas Tech is shorthanded and, they didn't have a lot of depth to begin with. But we kind of talked about it on Sunday night. Akron's really small. They don't defend. I think that if this gets into a fast-paced shootout, Texas Tech has to be the favorite here. So, it's boring. It certainly is. This Akron team is fun. I've been pounding the table for them all year because I thought they were better than Miami, Ohio. But, They play fast. They don't guard. This is just not a great recipe to upset someone. I could be proven wrong.
I think they're better. I think Akron's a lot better than it was last year. But like we didn't
Offensively, they are.
Like we didn't think they had a chance to win last year, and they lost by 30.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech, I trust them to not lose a first-round game. I trust Christian Anderson to not lose a first-round game. Like Tavari might go for 30, but C4 might go for 30. I think Luwan Watts will have a big game.
Yeah, who do you put on him? Mahaffey?
Yeah, probably Mahaffey. SMU is in this awful zone.
Who like
awful zone?
Well, nobody ever accused Andy Enfield of being a great in-game adjuster. So, yeah, I'm taking Texas Tech. The Red Raiders. Sam, you want to talk about Hofstra?
Yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts on
this. This is one that I know you were going back and forth on.
I actually think like Hofstra's mismatch hunting offense plays into Alabama's hands because Alabama's weakness defensively is like they don't have great rim protection. They don't have great like size and physicality inside, but their bigs are fairly mobile. So like I don't think there's a ton of mismatches you can hunt. And like this is going to be a game where both teams are just going to hunt mismatches because that's what both of these teams do. And I think Alabama's just better at it.
Yeah, that's kind of what Phylon does.
And I think Alabama can play a faster game. I don't think Hofstra can win a faster game here. Hofstra's defense has been awesome, but like how much of that is what their bigs do and how are their bigs and how are Silas Sunday and Victory on Iwetu kind of more slower footed paint bound guys going to be in a matchup with an Alabama team that can spread you out, an Alabama team that can get switches onto guards for your bigs. I think that's what makes my two X factors for Hofstra are Josh Decady and Biggie Patterson. Those are their two kind of big forward defenders. They're going to need them to be good on defense and on offense in this game in order to have a chance.
I kind of think the numbers will not indicate this, but I kind of think Alabama's defense could improve it without Holloway because like you're forced to play Jamison more. You'll have some more positional size, especially in this game. I think that like you're obviously offensively Holloway is terrific. Like you're losing a really talented shooter, another guy that could play on ball, but I don't think that like Amari Allen getting more touches with the way he's been playing is necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
I'm taking Bama. I did consider Hofstra, but I think Bama's a bit too athletic for the Pride.
I agree. I think Miami, Ohio is going to win this game, but like
against SMU.
Yeah, but like I'm not picking them to beat Tennessee. I'm not picking SMU to beat Tennessee. I don't really have any thoughts on this. I just think Tennessee is physical enough to beat both of these teams.
Don't think that anyone on Miami matches up super well with Ament. They don't have, a longer, more physical wing, which, to be fair, not a lot of mid-majors do. The one thing that I'd say I'm concerned about is like Tennessee does not do a really good job running teams off the line. So like if Miami, Ohio kind of does what they did tonight, then maybe they can win this game. I do think that like it will be semi-close because like Miami doesn't ever seem to get blown out. Like obviously, right? They've lost one game, but every game with them seems to be close. So I could definitely see Miami hanging here, but I think Tennessee's talent overwhelms them at the end.
Me too. Then I've got some Virginia Wright State thoughts. Just kind of a weird early matchup for Virginia. Like I don't think it's a problem for Virginia. But Wright State is really good at preventing three-point attempts. Virginia loves to shoot threes. Wright State is a really good rebounding team. And that's what Virginia does too. TJ Birch is the number one player in the country in steal rate, and Virginia kind of has a turnover weakness. But at the end of the day, I think Virginia is that much better. Wright State's probably going to have to make a ton of threes. They don't take very many.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a problem
I think it's a problem first half for Virginia.
I think it's a problem that Wright State doesn't take a lot of threes when you got Kareem Abdul and Yenso in there.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of my other thing here. I think I have on Yenso outside shooting mentioned in my notes for a different game.
Okay, how are Grunlow's splits better than Yenso?
They're both awesome.
Like I watched those two play 3 games this past week, and it was very apparent that Yenso was better than him.
I think both of them are awesome.
But like maybe Grunlow just didn't have a good week, whatnot. Maybe I wasn't seeing something. I think like Yenso had one of the better defensive champ weeks I've ever seen. I mean, he set the record for blocks in the ACC tournament by a mile, and he only played 3 games doing it. So, all right, let's discuss this next one. I know we're different here. It's Miami, Ohio by 14.
I'm sorry,
man. How bad do you have to be to get beat by 14? We got 14 in the second half to this Miami, Ohio team.
This is Northern Illinois levels. Central
Michigan. Get SMU out of here, man.
Okay. I've been waiting to fade Kentucky all year. This is one of those I refuse to pick a team that I don't think is good picks.
It's not that I think Kentucky is good. It's I don't think they're bad.
I just don't think they're good. Like, they're just so bad in the first half that, like, if Santa Clara can get up, like, 10 in the first half, like, this entire St. Louis crowd will be, like, the biggest Santa Clara fans. Nobody ever wants to see Kentucky win. And then...
Here's the problem. Kentucky's going to have a lot of fans there.
That's true. That's true. But Iowa State will, too.
They will.
And as we've talked about on this podcast, Rupp Arena is a -10 for Kentucky when they're booing their own team.
Would they boo their own team in an NCAA tournament game?
They go down 15 in the first half to Santa Clara, absolutely.
So I think Moreno versus Graves is a really fun battle of future NBA bigs.
Me too.
I think
love Bucky Okoye as well. Oboye or Okoye?
I think it's Okoye. I think
he's great, but it's this Santa Clara backcourt that doesn't get enough love. Ensminger, Hammond, Mahi, more of a wing. Like all the talk about Allen Graves, nobody talks about Christian Hammond and how good he is.
Yeah, he's been excellent all year. I think
like Owe and Aberdeen just take too many jump shots. I don't like Kentucky's formula. Like I liked their math last year. I don't like their math this year.
Listen, I think Kentucky, if you're concerned about Kentucky here, you don't think they can get out in transition, and you don't think those guards can go be the athletes that they are. If Santa Clara makes this a half-court game, I think Santa Clara wins. But at the same time, like I think Kentucky has done enough like throughout the year to course correct their turnover problems. So like that is a strength of Santa Clara's, and I don't think it will be an issue in this game. But to me, it's just, does this become a half-court game or does this become a full-court game?
And even then, I think Santa Clara is athletic enough to be like, I know they're not a great transition defense, but I think they're athletic enough to be in a full-court game.
Kentucky's not a team that has like a ton of eye-popping strengths. Santa Clara, to be fair, isn't either. They turn you over, the offensive rebound. So if like I said, half-court game, they win in the margins. That's
like I don't know what a good Kentucky game looks like.
Well, that's what we have Rule 12 for.
Which one is Rule 12?
It's don't be afraid. You are allowed to pick low-seeded, talented teams to make runs.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I also know the teams I don't like.
Totally fair. This is where the bracket Bible is tricky. You got to figure out which of these rules matter, which of them you trust.
I've wanted to sell myself on Kentucky on 4 different times.
They've given no reason to. They have beaten quality teams. They have beaten quality teams.
And they've lost to so many.
They've also had some horrific losses. Like losing to that Georgia team in mid-February at home did not inspire a lot of confidence.
Yeah. By the way, the first 4 game that we sat for tonight, Prairie View A&M plays Florida.
That is true. Any Tennessee State, Iowa State thoughts?
Give me the Gators.
I'm picking Kentucky for what it's worth. So we have 3 picks that are different right now.
Yes.
Right?
South Florida.
I also want to add that I
TCU and Santa Clara.
I also want to add that I took a egregious NCAA tournament bet today.
What did you take?
That is related to this. Kentucky 35-1 to make the Final Four.
That's absurd. That is I gotta say though, like I didn't not consider like Kentucky to like do something in this tournament.
It's Kentucky. You have to, right? Like
because it's Kentucky. All right, Florida over Prairie View A&M.
Just to be clear, you're not picking Tennessee State?
I am not picking Nolan Smith's team. I'm not picking Aaron Kruma, who will be playing, by the way.
He has not opted out to prepare for the NBA draft.
No, that is not something that happened.
All right, this is another one I think we have different. Clemson, Iowa.
If I'm going to pick against Ben McCollum and Bennett Sturts, it better be with a coach that I know for sure is elite or just an absolute talent mismatch.
Okay.
Like, are you really going to pick against Ben McCollum for the second straight year?
I think Clemson has good individual defenders on the perimeter, and they rebound.
I don't.
Like
I don't think Dylan Hunter's been good defensively this year.
I think he's still very good defensively. I don't think he's been as good as I thought he was going to be. Maybe that's because he's had to handle more of an offensive load maybe than he did last year. He does play point guard for them, so maybe there's that to it. But I don't think that like Ace Buckner's a bad defender either.
Okay, here's what I'll go with. Clemson's ball screen defense isn't that good. Like it's the metrics on it aren't great.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa's all ball screens. That's where they create their offense.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson's post without Carter Welling. Nick Davidson hasn't been very good this year. This means more of Nick Davidson, who I thought was going to be a superstar for them. I thought he was going to be all ACC.
He showed some flashes when I watched him as like a pick and pop threat, but it never materialized into anything.
Never materialized. It's unfortunate. Give me Iowa. Give me Ben McCollum. Like if Ben McCollum loses this game, fine. How mad will you be if you got it wrong and Ben McCollum beat you twice?
Well, I'll be 0-2 picking against Ben McCollum in the NCAA tournament.
That's what I'm getting at.
That's a fair point. I think Godfrey is gonna have his way down low in this.
I don't disagree.
What'd you say?
I don't disagree.
Yeah. So like, I also think the one other thing that like keeps giving me a little bit pause is like Clemson is okay playing this like slow, drag it into the mud game. Are they good enough on the glass without Welling? That's my question.
I don't think they are. They really wanted to say Miami wasn't good enough for this bubble.
I think we should have been saying SMU wasn't good enough for this bubble.
They're not without
and
PJ
it wasn't
Edwards.
because of this game.
They weren't good enough without PJ Edwards. They only won. The only game they won in that stretch was against Mr. Red Autry.
All right, Sam, I'm going to simplify something.
They really wanted to say Miami wasn't good enough for this bubble.
I'm going to simplify something here. McNeese's primary method and really best method of getting stops is forcing turnovers. Vanderbilt's not going to turn the ball over. You disagree?
Turn it over. Vanderbilt's not going to turn it over.
Vanderbilt's guards are too good. This is going to be a lot closer to Gonzaga versus McNeese than Clemson versus McNeese.
My notes on this game: as good as McNeese can be in the Southland with their athleticism, they are a layup line pressing against athletes that are smart. Vanderbilt is comfortable. Guards don't turn it over at all, and the lack of size is an issue. All of Vandy's players are good decision makers. Okereke, McLaughlin, Tanner, Miles, Nickel. All of those guys are good decision makers. I don't see a path for McNeese at Vandy's pace. I don't.
I do think that one thing that favors McNeese a little bit is like they are an absolutely brutal rebounding team, and they won't get killed on the boards in this one. But yeah, I think this is probably the worst matchup of the 5 seeds for McNeese.
Yes, I think so.
Like even St. John's, I think they could force into turnovers and make
Yeah,
it
St. John's
competitive.
turns it over, interestingly.
So, Vandy, Nebraska, Troy, the America's upset pick.
Yeah, this is a hashtag thank you Matthew Winnick for me. Was chatting with him yesterday. Troy's offense is just rim and three, and they're not good from three. They don't make a ton of threes. Kobe and Cooper Campbell are their only outside shooters. Theo Sang will be back. That's notable. But I don't think Sang makes them a great 3-point shooting team. I don't think Bellamy hits threes. I don't think Dowd hits threes. I don't think Valdez hits threes. So Nebraska, with their aggressive no middle and their heavy help, it's impossible to get to the rim. Troy needs to get to the rim to score efficiently. In their games against South Alabama, who also doesn't allow anything at the rim, they scored 59 and 54 points.
Yeah, I weirdly don't think that the 9th best 3-point shooting team in the Sun Belt is going to beat a Nebraska team that you have to make threes against them to win.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. Nebraska. The Tony Patelis' fight on.
Yeah. Although I will say the funniest possible outcome maybe of this entire tournament is Troy beating.
Is Nebraska losing? 100%. And then SMU is on a 7-0 run. Here come the Fighting Evan Mobleys. Oh, never mind. Elmer for 3. This one's over.
You're ahead of me.
Sorry, I'm watching on the March Madness app, which appears to be a little better than I thought it was. So, Carolina VCU. I know you and I have both went back and forth on this one. This is the only one.
Here for VCU is that I don't think Lazar Djokovic and Michael Bell can guard Henri Visar.
See, I think the easiest way to beat North Carolina is, they actually don't have terrible isolation perimeter defenders. But the easiest way I think to beat them is having a big that can pop and guards that can work in the mid-range and floaters. Because North Carolina is strictly a drop coverage team. And you're not going to want to get to the rim because Vesar is a really good rim protector. Djokovic is not a real pick and pop threat. And I don't trust these VCU guards enough to be able to work in the mid-range, hit tough shots, get guys on their hip to win this one.
The Heels were most vulnerable when guards torched them off the bounce early. And it was elite ACC guards. Ibuka Okori, Boopy Miller, Juke Harris. Those guys torched them off the bounce. Mm-hmm. And then that led to the defense collapsing and 14 threes a game going in. I don't think Terrence Hill is like that. I don't think Nick Lewis is like that. Good players, I don't think they're like that. Djokovic just doesn't guard well against good bigs, I think. I just think that even without Caleb Wilson, this is probably it's a close game. I think it's a 5 to 7 point game, but I'm taking the Heels.
Yeah, I think if you're North Carolina, probably play a deeper drop. You don't want to have to sit Vesar with foul trouble when you really only have Jaron Stevenson and Zayden High at the 5 behind him. So fun guard defensive matchup with Trimble and Jennings. So this is I feel over half of the brackets I've seen this week are picking VCU. So it is somewhat of a toss up. So can't say I blame them. Penn is going to get 0 stops in this game.
I mean, I said Penn was going to get 0 stops all year, and they somehow
Illinois may score 1.5 points per possession.
I want to shout out Penn for actually being passable defensively. Zanoni, Thrower, Power, I think have all gotten a lot better defensively. Lucas Luth was awesome on defense in the conference tournament. AJ Levine is a pest. Illinois by 20.
I didn't come all this way to lose to Dalton Scantleberry. Much as I like him.
This Penn team is more Illinois guys than Illinois.
This next one's a tricky one.
St. Mary's, Texas A&M, where are you at?
It's Texas A&M. It's Bucky's first run in the tournament at A&M. I don't, fully trust the style. They've been, I think, really hit or miss here, especially down the stretch. Like, you've gotten blown out a couple times. I think that like St. Mary's is going to be able to slow this down. I trust their guards more than A&M's. A&M, like, I know the whole like run and dunk meme has like come up this week. I don't think this A&M team is like supremely athletic. I think playing fast and being an athletic team are two different things. And I don't think that this A&M team has like the 2024 Grand Canyon athleticism. Like, they just play fast and shoot threes, and I think St. Mary's can kind of limit that.
Okay,
St. Mary's does a pretty damn good job of running teams off the line.
Here's my thing. They do a good job of running teams off the line in the half court. What happens when Texas A&M gets in transition and essentially plays McKeever off the floor?
It's a fair question. It's a really fair question.
I think that McKeever can struggle. This is not a Grand Canyon level athletic team, but I think the faster you play, the less athletic you need to be if you're still athletic and deep. For the St. Mary's quote.
Yeah, sure.
And look, I was originally picking St. Mary's in this game, and I wanted to pick St. Mary's. Then I got to this point in the bracket of my writing my notes, and I was like, why am I picking St. Mary's? How are they winning this game?
I will say that, like, fair. You tell me if I'm wrong. This is the most athletic Randy Bennett team in the last 5 years.
Think I agree.
Not to say that they are athletic.
I mean, I just don't know if the St. Mary's quotient is like the same as it's been in the past couple of years.
I like weirdly am obsessed with picking St. Mary's in the first round for some reason.
No, and I like St. Mary's as a program. I think they're a good team. I just think that this Texas A&M team. I know, like I said on Sunday night, I couldn't get the bad results out of my head from early in the season, but I think they've really stabilized, even with kind of the bad stretch in SEC play. Like, they've kind of stabilized a little bit towards the end of the year. I know they didn't beat like a ton of good teams in that stretch, but I think they're going to be good enough to win this game.
Give me a number. How many threes does Texas A&M need to hit to win?
I could see them winning with 10.
The one other thing I will say, and it's not, it's not a weakness per se of Texas A&M. I actually call it more of a strength because they ramped it up in conference play. Texas A&M's going to need to get stops because you can't play
number 3 defense. Number 3 defense in the SEC, Jonathan. They're all good.
If St. Mary's is using 20 to 25 seconds of shot clock and scoring, A&M's not going to be able to play the way they want.
Correct. All right, Jonathan.
St. Mary's. Does that give us 5 first-round games that are different?
South Florida,
Ohio State,
TCU.
I have Louisville in that South Florida game, so that's 2.
Santa Clara,
I have
Iowa,
Kentucky, that's 3. I have Clemson, that's 4, and I have St. Mary's. So we have 5 different again this year, which means we will have a winner to this year's challenge, and it will probably be.
By the way, SMU 44 to 18 points in the paint, and they're losing by 7. What a joke of a team!
I'm taking Houston. Shout out to Harrison Vapnik, who tweeted a 60-24 Thunder versus Blazers score and said preview of Houston, Idaho. That may be the final score of that game.
What did I write in this game? I just wrote sorry, Idaho.
To the second round. We're over halfway through the bracket.
That's correct.
That's how this thing works. Duke versus TCU for you. Duke versus Ohio State for me.
TCU will make it a game, scrappy and tough, but I don't think Duke's going to need to ball screen much and allow the hedge and just get Boozer the ball in the high post and kind of have him work. I think he can one-on-one with Punch. Like, I know Punch is amazing, but like, it's Cam Boozer. Like, I'm not doubting him.
Concerned about either one of these teams matching up with Duke. TCU's got good wing defenders. Not that there is good defenders for Cam Boozer, but they have bodies that they can throw at him. That concerns me a little bit. On the Ohio State side of this, Duke's a much better coach team than Ohio State is, but why can't Ohio State's guards do what Florida State did to them? No ball screens, play in isolation, create on your own. Just need a little bit of shooting luck. I think Duke wins. I don't expect it to be easy no matter who they play. St. John's, Kansas?
Kind of same thing I said about St. John's, Northern Iowa, in the sense that they haven't beaten that St. John's hasn't lost to an offense that's not top 40. Dylan Mitchell's the game breaker in this one for me. I think you can throw him on anyone. I think he can kind of cut into the teeth of the defense as well, kind of break things up. Zuby and Flory is a battle I'm really excited to see. I just don't think Kansas can dominate physically in this game.
Yeah, Kansas doesn't really, I don't think Kansas will keep this close in the rebound and turnover margin, which is what you really need to do against St. John's. To be honest, the path here for Kansas, we get number 1 overall pick Darren Peterson for 35 minutes.
Here's what I'm going to say. I kind of think St. John's has been I kind of think this season has worn Bill Self down. Like, I don't think he's coaching his best basketball at the end of the year right now. Like, they looked like a pulp.
You could tell in the press conference after the Houston game.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. I think St. John's, this is a good path for St. John's. If they can get through Northern Iowa, I think they match up well with Kansas and they match up well with Duke. And we'll get into that, obviously, soon. So, taking the Johnnies. You have South Florida, Michigan State. You have Michigan State, Louisville. I'll let you go on this because it's a really simple explanation for me. Louisville plays well against teams that they're better than. They don't play up well. Michigan State here, easy.
I actually think South Florida has a really good chance to win this game.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think their rim advantage will be quite as prescient against a Michigan State team that dominates the glass. Fears will make it tough for South Florida to attack one-on-one, even though it's not their game. Perimeter-wise, MSU has athleticism. Maybe not athletic enough for Nelson inside, but they're physical enough. The game slows down. And most importantly, it's Tom Izzo on a one-day scout.
Yep. UCLA, UConn? You go first.
Kind of another one-day scout thing. Like, Hurley on a one-day scout is really, like, this Hurley, Kimani, Luke Murray team on a one-day scout operating at a level offensively, I think, at some points this year, especially in non-conference play, against teams that they haven't seen before, that haven't seen them before. It's still a really tough one-day scout. So I'm going to go with the Huskies. I think it'll be tough. But I also think I don't think UCLA punches them physically like we saw St. John's do in the Big East Championship game. I don't think UCLA kind of enforces themselves in this game. And I think that that's how UConn wins.
I think that this UConn team and staff is really tough to go up against on a one-day scout. And it's in the Eastern time zone. Two things giving me concerns. But I like UCLA's ability to control the pace of this game, drag defenders out in ball screens. I think that, Bilodeau on the perimeter and Daly operating, in kind of like the mid post could give them some trouble. I think they have a chance to get read and foul trouble, which would be a problem. I don't think UConn's playing super high level basketball right now. And they absolutely could out scout and out coach Cronin in this one. It wouldn't be the first time this staff has done that in a situation like this. But as long as UCLA is healthy, I think they are a tremendous basketball team the way they finished the season and played down the stretch. I'm taking UCLA.
Okay. I was close to picking UCLA.
Wouldn't surprise me if UConn lost the game. Wouldn't surprise me if UConn won the region. Their coaching staff is that good.
Do we go now to the West?
Back to the West, yep. What are the chances for Utah State here? What do they have to do?
I have no idea like what they can do.
Arizona's too big, too physical.
Like it's just like good luck slashing against Arizona. Good luck driving against Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me Arizona here.
Yep. All right. This is one I know we disagree on. Wisconsin, Arkansas.
Yeah.
I know the line you're going to say. I'm going to let you say it.
What's the line I'm going to say?
You're not picking John Calipari to win this game.
I'm not picking John Calipari to win this game. I also think that John Blackwell and Nick Boyd, like people are gonna like want to tail Darius Acuff. Like I want to tail John Blackwell and Nick Boyd.
These is two experienced ball dominant guards against two freshman ball dominant guards.
And two tremendous freshman guards, by the way. Like I'll give them that. But I don't think I don't think Arkansas's guards are very good defensively. If the NBA draft guys are right about Darius Acuff, Nick Boyd is dropping 35.
I don't think that like Arkansas poses this like great rim defense, and it's part of why their defense has not been very good this year. They
block shots, but like Wisconsin gets their shot blocked a lot, so like that's not a problem. Mm-hmm. Like that doesn't impact the math of this game, in my opinion, for Wisconsin.
What I actually think,
and I think Wisconsin's bigs either way pull the Arkansas bigs out, and they make outside shots. Wisconsin has so many shooters on the floor at the same time on good volume. Arkansas has some lower volume shooters. I think 3 is better than 2.
What is Knox done for the year?
Is Knox done for the year?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to operate that he's not playing in this. I actually do think that they have the personnel to be able to get out and recover and pick and pop. Like, I think Brazil, Pringle, Ewan, and even Richmond are like athletic enough to do that, which I think like when Wisconsin has beat good teams, like that gave Illinois problems because they're not, an athletic front court. That gave Michigan problems, but Wisconsin just went nuts in both of those games. And, Mara's not a great, get out and recover on the perimeter guy. He's a elite rim defender. That's what he does. So I think Arkansas's bigs will actually be okay against Wisconsin's bigs on the perimeter in this one. It's like who is going to get more? Acuff and Thomas or Blackwell and Boyd? And I'm going to go with Arkansas.
I can't believe JJ actually went out for this.
Unbelievable. I'm going Arkansas.
I'm going Wisconsin.
A head-to-head fight in the second round. Two head-to-head fights in the second round.
Yeah. Gonzaga, Texas. This is pretty simple for me. Texas isn't good. BYU isn't good. NC State isn't good. Gonzaga is good.
I weirdly don't think that Gonzaga needs Huff in this one because I think
they don't. They absolutely don't.
He'll get in foul trouble anyway. Like I actually think that Gonzaga's better suited with playing TGF and even Innocenti on bigger guys in this game. I don't think Texas ability to get a bunch of fouls and get to the line a bunch is going to work here. Gonzaga's defense is too disciplined for that.
I'm with you. Miami, Purdue. Jonathan, Rule 1.
This is a total mismatch for Purdue.
Rule 1. Take conference tournament week with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what I thought Purdue was a week ago. I still think they're that. I still think they're soft. I still think they're not a great defense. And I still think that they're just straight up not that good. So them getting a 2 seed is the best thing that could possibly happen to my bracket because I think they're worse than all the 3 seeds.
So in the NCAA tournament or in the Big Ten tournament, obviously Braden Smith was exceptional in the Big Ten championship game. But what really stood out to me is Clough was killing people on the glass. Miami won't let that happen to them.
No.
And they're pretty well suited defensively to cover TKR and Uday. Donaldson, I think, is like athletic enough to get around screens, and at least make life harder for Braden Smith. Like, there's obviously only so much you can do. I think Purdue's really going to have to hit a ton of threes in this one to knock off Miami. I think this is a great matchup. Miami's defense, we've talked about it. They're physical, they're tough, they're long. Miami, if they lose this game, it's because, Matt Painter makes great in-game adjustments, comes out with a good game plan, and they get killed at the free throw line because Miami's not a good free throw shooting team. So, but I'm taking Miami. This is like probably my biggest upset of the tournament. Right.
Definitely my biggest upset of the tournament. Give me Miami over Purdue. Michigan over St. Louis. Don't really have a ton of thoughts here. It's just like
unlike Georgia, I think like Michigan has the personnel to be able to get out and cover Robbie and not give up the rim. Right? Like, am I off with that?
I agree.
And like the other part of this, I think, is like you can, sort of play Mara on one of St. Louis's non-shooters. That way, like Yaxel or Merez even can go out and cover Robbie on the perimeter. I don't think St. Louis has enough firepower defensively to get stops inside. I think Michigan's just going to be, the more dominant team.
Okay, Miami just became a Rule 10 team, by the way. Ohio.
Ooh, that's a great call. We considered them.
They were kind of a Rule 10 team, but like they definitely had something.
Winning the play-in game definitely pushed them over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, Michigan and St. Louis kind of have similar statistical profiles and like what they want to do in terms of just like really good effective field goal percentage on both ends. Michigan has more ways to guard. Rule 10. Jonathan, would you like to explain?
Beware of teams that are satisfied with their season regardless of the NCAA tournament outcome.
Yep.
This rule has rarely failed me.
It failed me in 2023 Kansas State. All right. I really don't have an explanation for this game, Jonathan.
For Bama, Texas Tech?
My one explanation
literally just going to be who hits more threes.
Just give me a Texas Tech culture win. Texas Tech leads the country in culture wins.
Give them one more before the season ends?
Give them one more before the season ends.
So I don't think that like Bama
has fade the SEC.
I don't think Bama really has the personnel to do what Texas Tech did.
By the way, I have now picked against 3 SEC teams on this side of the bracket.
Yeah, you're really anti-SEC this year.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I don't think Alabama has quite the personnel to do what some other teams were doing down the stretch to Texas Tech once like the Toppin film was out, or the non-Toppin film was out there. I think like Texas Tech's depth is going to catch up to them though if they have to play 2 high possession games in a row in the span of 3 days. So that's why I'm picking Alabama. Alabama's a really tough team to go out and play on a one-day scout. They've only lost under Nate Oates once ever on a one-day scout in the NCAA tournament, and that was the awesome Duke team last year.
Yeah.
So give me the Tide.
I think that's really
we have some nice disagreements here in the second round.
Yeah, not like usual where we have the same bracket every year.
I'm pleased. And you know what? The one major upset that we agree on, Miami, it's fine. We can root for that together and talk shit to each other at other points.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna keep fading the SEC, Jonathan.
You are taking Virginia, as am I.
Don't like Tennessee's math equation here, giving up threes and not taking threes. Don't think there's anyone besides the 5-man on UVA that you can sag off and be successful with it. And even Onyenso is hitting threes now. So I think that, and I think DeRitter's a really good matchup for Nate Amen.
Yeah, Tennessee's got, they certainly have talented players individually.
They have 2 talented players.
I don't think that their team basketball has been super great this year on the offensive end. Like it has.
They have 2 talented players. We can call it like it is.
Yeah. Virginia can kind of, I think, build a wall, inside the lane against Ament, and they don't have to worry too much about Tennessee, drilling threes. So I think this could be, a vintage Virginia look where you play almost like a pack line look, and you make Tennessee beat you from the outside, because I think Virginia does have a handful of bodies that they can throw at Ament.
Yeah.
Kentucky, Iowa State, or you have Santa Clara?
Yeah, Santa Clara, Iowa State. Santa Clara won't get any easy points in this game. Iowa State wins the turnover battle by a lot.
Wouldn't be that surprised if Kentucky was able to knock off Iowa State, make this a competitive game. But I think Iowa State's too solid defensively. Otzelberger will have a really good game plan. If you can keep Aberdeen and Owe out of the middle of the floor, I think there's a very high probability you get it done. And that's obviously what Iowa State just does schematically. Florida, Iowa for you, Florida, Clemson for me.
Yeah, Florida. If I'm going to pick against Ben McCollum, it better be with a good coach.
My hot takes article includes something about this potential matchup, and I won't, obviously spoil it. But Florida, if Clemson had Welling, this would be a sneaky, I think, tough matchup for them, because
I agree.
Clemson wouldn't get destroyed on the boards. They'd slow the game down and play a 60-something low possession game. But without Welling, I think Clemson's just merely an average rebound team.
This guy gets it. He gets Rule 10.
St. John's was the Rule 10 team of all time.
They were the biggest Rule 10 team of all time as soon as we had "Soon May the Red Storm Come."
Because that video came out. Can't pick against Florida here. I do think it could be a tough matchup, but don't think they lose. Vandy, Nebraska.
Yeah, for me,
Vandy's a team that can beat you on the perimeter.
Yeah, Vandy will live just okay to shoot a ton of threes with how many shooters they have. Nebraska won't be able to prevent all of Vandy's shooters from getting free if they want to keep the purity of the no middle. Tanner will cook on defense against these Nebraska guards. Give me the doors.
Give me Vandy.
Carolina's biggest strength right now is Vasar, but I don't think Illinois is a team that's going to be fazed by that. Enough size and rebounding to win this one comfortably.
Illinois, I've said all year they'll lose to the first team in this tournament that have guards that can beat you in isolation and matchup hunt. UNC does not have that. I think I would pick Illinois to win this game, even if UNC did have Caleb Wilson.
I don't think Houston's guards are going to turn it over against the A&M press.
Similar explanation for me on the other side of the spectrum. You're not winning a game where your identity is not making mistakes against Houston. You're just not. Way more athletic. They'll make St. Mary's very uncomfortable.
Wait, is that white smoke from Midmo Dan?
You're damn right it is.
Oh, we're so excited for this.
Duke, St. John's.
I know where you're going with this one, so go ahead.
It hurts. This is the only team in the 4 or 5 range that I didn't want to see in the region. St. John's is going to pressure the hell out of us against an inexperienced guard. I think, Duke can counter that a little bit by playing Cam Boozer at the 1. But Duke doesn't necessarily need Pat back this weekend to win 2 games. They definitely need him back for this game.
And I'm assuming he will be back for this game. And I just think this is a Duke gets over the line. Duke escapes. Duke survives 66-62 or something.
I'll be thrilled if we if we win this game. Assuming St. John's gets there, other stuff can happen, of course.
I just think that I don't think either team takes advantage of the other team's weakness to a point where it separates anything besides the talent, which I think Duke has the edge.
Yeah, I think we need Caleb Foster or Pat in this game for sure, banking on Pat being back. But I think St. John's ability to pressure the ball is going to be too much for a now younger and more inexperienced Duke team with the injuries that they have.
Michigan State, UConn for me. Michigan State, UCLA for you. For me, this is simple. UConn is not built for this big boy stuff right now. They are not built for a team that's going to punch them in the mouth. UConn is a heavyweight, but they're a soft heavyweight. Over the last couple of months, when they've gotten punched, it's looked bad. I think Michigan State's going to punch them.
Michigan State, UCLA for me. I think this is really interesting because Michigan State just lost to these guys in the Big Ten tournament. Listen, I'm 100% open to the idea of UCLA winning this game, but I think Michigan State, with all that prep time, they're going to be just too solid of a defense against this Donovan Dent-led team. The last time these guys played last week in the Big Ten tournament, Michigan State only had 1 day of prep. They're going to have 4 to 5 for this one. Give me the Spartans.
Arizona, Wisconsin. Jonathan. The comment.
Get Euros Plavsic out of here so he can literally punch a UConn player in the mouth. What was the line? The chances of aggravated assault while playing against Tennessee just went down significantly.
I think Wisconsin kind of needs like inferno level shooting they had against Michigan to even have a chance in this game. Like Arizona, Arizona's math is just too good with their rebounding and their ability to get to the paint.
Yeah, I don't think that Arkansas is going to have enough. Like they're not going to play enough possessions to win this. Like Arizona is going to get too many second chances.
Okay, Gonzaga over Miami.
I'm taking Miami.
This was a late change for me. I didn't even tell you about this.
Okay.
I just think you can. I think Tyon Grant Foster is probably the best matchup for Renew that we've seen at this point.
Totally fair.
And I think you can kind of have Innocenti in different spots. Ike. Gonzaga is a 96th percentile post-up defense. And I think they're physical on the glass as well.
I think that Miami's going to match up hunt Mario, and they're going to probably play him off the floor in this game. You're totally right about TGF being a good matchup for Renew. I think that Miami can do enough both on the boards and against Graham Ike to limit him. So give me the Canes rolling on to their
all right. I like it.
It would be their third Elite Eight in 5 years, right?
With 2 different coaches.
Yep.
At some point, the Jalen Clark injury has to matter for UCLA. At some point, the
JT Toppin injury.
JT Toppin injury has to matter for Texas Tech. That'll matter against the best rim defense in the country.
I have Alabama here. I could not imagine the amount of threes Alabama would have to hit in this game to even keep it close. Michigan is going to run up the rebound margin. They are going to get better shot after better shot. Their length on the perimeter should really bother an Alabama team that likes to match up hunt. Michigan can switch. I think that's a nightmare matchup. I don't think the game would be close if those two teams met.
Iowa State, Virginia. I think Iowa State wins the turnover battle and shuts the Virginia backcourt down, forces DeRidder to play into Jefferson, and I think that's a good matchup for Iowa State. Give me the best defense in this game. Give me the math battle in this game, and that's going to be Iowa State.
Yeah, give me Jefferson completely taking out DeRidder. I think, Chance Mallory has really been making the engine go offensively for Virginia. He doesn't score a bunch, but he sets up his teammates. He gets 2 feet in the lane. He gets really wherever he wants on the floor. Give me one of the best point of attack defenders in the entire country in Tamin Lipsey on him, limiting what he can do. I'll take Iowa State.
This was a really this I never thought about picking Vandy, but Vandy played Florida better than anyone else in the SEC, in my opinion.
Beat them once, we're close with them the other time, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I just think Lee and Flan probably make enough shots in this game.
Vandy hit only 10 threes when they played.
I think at the end of the day, Florida wins the battle on the glass. They're the more physical team. How many times have I said the more physical team's going to win today, Jonathan?
It's a theme in college basketball this year, being physical.
It's what we've been talking about all year.
Physicality and producing easy shots. Something that Arizona does really well and something that Florida does really well. I think it's always interesting when conference opponents play in the NCAA tournament. This is tough because you have better read on your conference opponents than anyone else in the league. I think that if Florida has to play Vanderbilt a third time, part of me thinks that the more talented team playing them a third time will figure something out. So I'll take Florida.
Houston, Illinois. Jonathan, what did you just say about Illinois?
Really easy explanation here. Houston will match up punt. Illinois can't guard one-on-one.
Yep.
The only way I think the Houston makes this harder for themselves than they have to, and Illinois can win, is if they insist on going to that Tugler post-up that they were going to a lot early in the year.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, Jonathan. Michigan State, Duke for me. Michigan State, St. John's for you.
Michigan State, St. John's will be a really messy game, really physical. Teams battling on the glass. I think I trust Izzo a little more on a one-day scout. He is the king of one-day scouts, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Jeremy Fears takes care of the ball. I think that they can do some stuff in short roll and ball screens. They can do some pick and pop with Kohler if these two teams meet. I don't think that St. John's will be able to speed this Michigan State team up offensively like they want to.
Yep.
Sparty to the Final Four.
I'm with you, actually. I think Michigan State goes to the Final Four. I think Duke's going to be really tired after that St. John's game. I think that's kind of going to take their legs. It's going to be a tough one to win, and I think Izzo on a one-day scout against a tired team.
Michigan State
without Caleb Foster. Michigan State over Duke in Washington, D.C., Jonathan.
Where have we seen that before?
7 years later.
And Duke had a key injury in that game.
Jeremy Fears went 0 for 10 from the field in the last game they played against Duke. Mm-hmm. And they lost by one possession.
The numbers don't tell the whole story. Caleb Foster's a really good individual defender.
And even in that game, I think Jeremy Fears controlled it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me...
This is where, I know you have Gonzaga here, this is where I think Miami gets taken down. Arizona's really prepared to play against any style of basketball, which is why I like them so much. They have so many bodies they can throw at Miami. I feel like it's a constant thing I've said tonight, but again, loaded front courts have been a thing for the elite teams all year. And I think that Arizona probably has more in terms of shot creators on the perimeter.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the year guards win in March dies.
Bigs win in March.
Bigs win in March, baby. Give me the Cats.
Even though you'll see the teams I have in the title game and really in the Final Four, I think have good guard play. Just not
No, I think good guard play matters.
Not be Walter Clayton,
I just think guards win, but bigs get you there.
Ooh, new bracket Bible rule?
We'll see if this bracket ends up perfect. If it does, then yes.
Yeah. All right, Michigan, Iowa State for both of us, right?
Much as I love Iowa State, I just don't know where their points are coming from in this game.
Jefferson against the Axel fascinates me.
Michigan can guard the short rolls, keep them away from the rim, and turn Iowa State's guards into jump shooters. That's not Iowa State's game. Torrey and Lipsy are not good jump shooters, even though Lipsy is much better than he was as a freshman. Give me the Wolverines.
You know how I think Iowa State wins? And I've seen people picking Iowa State. It's entirely possible.
No, I think it too. I gave them a fair shot, in my thought today. I didn't just blind pick Michigan.
Here's how I think Iowa State wins. Does Iowa State have the personnel to force the really bad Elliott Cadeau game?
Yes.
I think they do too.
But the question still remains, how does Iowa State score?
Fair point. That's why I'm picking Michigan.
All right. Florida, Houston. This is the single game on this bracket that I struggled.
I had a tough time with this too.
Struggled the most.
You go first. I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
For the last month, Jonathan, I've been saying that Houston's pitfall is they're not quite as good at the Houston things as they usually are. Offensive rebounding and straight up team defense. Even though they're still good at them. And they're probably good enough at them to win this game with how good their guards are. I have to ride with Florida on the principle that this is going to be their pitfall when they run up against a team that does the Houston things better than Houston.
I really like that you stick with your narratives here.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's something I've been talking about all year, I've got to ride with it.
Because you know what?
You can send the link.
Because you know what?
By the way, you can send the link to our coming on guest.
I sent it to Salzman literally just as you said that. So here's what I'll say. I just did what you did, the game before for Houston. I picked Houston to beat Illinois because of a narrative that I had been saying all year. I think Houston doesn't control the glass. Obviously, it's really hard to control the glass against Florida, but they do enough on the boards to not, make that the reason they lose. I trust Houston's guards a lot more. As much as I can envision Fland and Lee hitting these crazy off the dribble jumpers. It is, JJ. It is. As much as I think Lee and Fland can go nuts and win a game with off the dribble jumpers, I think it's just as equally likely that they can shoot them out of a game. I think against the Houston defense that, really tries to make you uncomfortable, I'm worried that is going to happen. Give me the Cougs, rematch the games in Houston. Obviously, really no revenge spot in a game that's to go to the Final Four, but culture win for Kelvin Sampson's program. Fielder, shut up, man.
Michigan State, Florida.
I have Michigan State, Houston.
I think Florida. I just think Michigan State runs into a team that can kind of get them physically. And I think it's tough for them to compete with the depth of Florida's front court.
I think eventually Michigan State's going to have to,
make shots.
Make outside jumpers considering they don't have this dominant scoring front court like Arizona and Florida do. Michigan State makes shots. They just, don't make outside shots. And they don't have these, guys that you can throw it into and, post up guys. So give me Houston here to move on to their second straight national title game.
And give me Arizona over Michigan.
You have Florida over
Michigan State.
Okay.
And give me Arizona over Michigan. Jaden Bradley and Braden Berries are the difference makers here. Too much of them in the mid-range. Arizona's comfortable operating in the spots where Michigan doesn't want you, where Michigan wants you to operate, that mid-range spot. This is where I think going against the analytics wave of 3-point shots actually helps Arizona, because all of these defenses are built to take away the three, and Arizona, that's totally fine with them.
Arizona's got the personnel inside to be physical. They got the better guards to get you a big bucket late in the game, especially in that mid-range area like you talked about. This will be one of the most anticipated Final Four games ever if these two teams meet.
I think this is the national championship game.
I think
the winner wins the national championship.
I don't quite think that, but I have a different national championship than you, and I'm going to tell you why I don't quite think that.
Yep.
How many times can Kelvin Sampson play a team before he figures something out against playing them?
Okay, I think that's fair.
He kind of did it in the second half against them in the Big 12 championship.
So are you picking Houston?
Wait. He kind of figured something out in the second half of that championship game. And Arizona banks in a three. They do enough to get to the finish line. But for a second there, Houston was doing to Arizona in that game what they did to Duke in the Final Four. I'm worried that could happen here. I don't trust Houston enough to do the things that they do super well, like you said, usually. I don't trust Houston enough to be here. That's another component of this. I trust Arizona to be here. Arizona is more prepared than any team in the country to play against different styles. And if you look at their path, you play a Utah State, Arkansas team with two really talented guards that will try to get to the rim and create their own shot, a Miami team that's primarily based off of, feeding it to a four that likes to bang inside and go one-on-one, a Michigan team that's really unique offensively and does a lot of different things. And then Houston, who they've obviously seen a couple different times. So if these two teams play, not at all counting out Houston, they are a really great team, have a really talented trio of guards. Give me the Cats, baby. Blake Lidskin, national champion.
At some point, I think it's going to matter that Florida didn't play against this gauntlet of elite physical teams. And I think it matters when they go up against a gauntlet of elite physical teams and they get to the end of that gauntlet and there's another elite physical team, the best elite physical team staring in their way. I don't think it matters as much against an MSU team that is probably at hard capped with a Final Four. I think it matters against Arizona. I think Arizona survived its injuries, lost 2 games all year by a combined 7 points, won the regular season by 2 games, and conference tournament in the best conference in the country. They dominate the glass. They dominate the foul line. They don't need threes to win, so their floor is really high because they're very low variance. The Arizona Wildcats will be national champions, Jonathan. They will beat the Florida Gators 84-78 to do it.
Okay, I like that. Give me Arizona 68-63.
Okay.
Was that the score of the title? No, that wasn't the score of the title.
65-63. What I like, by the way, for me,
Houston losing back-to-back national titles in which they score 63 points.
By the way, what I like is that Florida and Arizona were the first big game of the season. They're going to be the last game of the season.
That's a great call. Well, that's our fake brackets. Now time to reveal our real ones. Let's get into it.
Salzman.
Let's welcome in Dick Vitale, Grant Salzman.
Oh, it's crazy, baby. It's Christmas Eve.
No, Christmas Eve was November 2nd.
Oh. It's Hanukkah Eve.
All right, Salzman. So what is the BBB parlay?
Sorry, I'm sending out a tweet to get my clout.
Of course. It's a big deal.
So the BBB parlay, the big baller brand parlay, someone call it, is brackets, bubbles, bit stealers. We're gonna do 2. We're gonna do 1 for the first round. So between the 32 games, we each give a pick, and that is our parlay. We can talk through some plays, and then we need to all give a future. So don't give my pick is Arizona to win the national championship or something like that.
Try to get some value in there.
Give Gonzaga to make the Sweet 16, something like that, something that you can follow throughout the tournament.
Just something that's not no national championship bets, because
yes.
Sam and I have disclosed that 4 teams can win this title.
Mm-hmm. So the goal of March as a gambler is to find winners. So I went around my home and I found winners. First, we'll start with Budweiser, the king of beers, 2006 Cardinals World Series championship beer. Winner. They won 82 games that year, but they won the ones that mattered in October.
Let's go.
That's what we're trying to do. The St. Louis Blues play Gloria. Oh, hey, Sam. Oh, no. Hey, Sam, play Gloria. They were the worst team in the league. You know what they did? They won 28 games when it mattered. Winner. This next guy.
28?
16 games
16.
for the
Where did
Matters.
28 come from?
Where
16.
did
Where did 28 come from?
guy, he was not quite a winner. Mark
Grant
Dwyer,
Salzman, great at math.
70 home runs. Winner. Okay, I have one more prop. Actually, sorry. 2011 Cardinals.
Where are these coming from?
All right, one more. Whitey Herzog signed.
That's a winner. That's a winner.
The White Rat. He was 1982 World Series. Liddy, what was he?
Winner.
Winner. That's what we're doing. Find the winners. Now,
Okay.
gentlemen, I found a winner today thanks to my good friend Jonathan Lidskin. Miami, Ohio +7.5. Sure.
Never was in doubt.
Never was in doubt. So some things that like I don't want to put these in the parlay, but I want to get your thoughts. Sam, thoughts on Troy covering 13.5 points tomorrow?
Out.
Really? Can you explain that? You think Nebraska's
We've
going to
already talked about this game. Go back to like 2 hours ago.
Why do you think Nebraska's going to win by 14 though? I know you said they're going to win.
Go back to what we said 2 hours ago.
Troy can't shoot. Troy can't shoot. Nebraska keeps you out of the lane.
All right.
That's why I might take Troy.
Fine, whatever. Okay. Tomorrow, an interesting one is LIU +30.5. Fins up. No, that's crazy.
Fins Up has been banned on this podcast.
Sam,
according to Jonathan
A&M +35.5. Thoughts?
What are we doing here?
Okay.
You came to the wrong podcast to ask Sam Federman for
Jimmy
gambling
Post
advice.
can go home.
JJ, this is for you. Okay. I really want to take SLU, but I can't ruin the parlay. You shouldn't bet on your favorite teams. So I think for my portion of the parlay, this is tough. You know what? No.
Can I do mine?
You can take SLU.
I'm taking SLU.
Money line or +2.5.
Let's play safe. Let's go SLU +2.5.
All right.
Okay, can I do mine?
Do yours, Sam.
Utah State -1.5.
Good.
Ooh, how about can I question? Actually, for both of us, we're leaving the points at the door. Let's go Utah State money line, and we'll go SLU money line.
What? No.
No, take the points.
I was gonna bet this up to like 2.5.
All right, Sam's a sharp. You're right. Utah State, if they win by 1 point, Sam, the things JJ Post will do to you. All right, Utah State
what has JJ
-1.5.
Post already not done to me?
Utah State -1.5.
SLU +2.5.
SLU +2.5.
Okay, Jonathan.
Give
Mr.
me-
Lidskin.
We went with a little bit of a homer pick.
Oh, is he gonna go?
So we have to go with a little bit of an anti-homer pick. To even
No,
it out.
don't take Sienna.
Miami
No,
-1.5.
no, not allowed.
We all have to agree on it, so now I can't choose it.
I'm gonna be a journalist at that game. I can't bet on
Oh,
that game.
that's
No way
totally
to
fair.
bet.
That's totally fair. I didn't think about that.
That was an easy way to get out of it.
All right, give me.
Who's jury and who is this? Harrison.
You have to be named after a different Big West player every year, Harrison.
Give me.
How do I see the real comments? Oh, there they are. Jake making fun of SLU. Alyssa Julton.
Give me North Carolina. Give me North Carolina money line.
I like that.
I like it.
Malachi,
parlay-
I have no faith in Villanova.
The parlay is Utah State -1.5, St. Louis +2.5, North Carolina money line. On FanDuel, it's +501.
Are you actually going to place this, Sam?
No, I will not.
I probably will.
I will. Okay, I like that.
I don't gamble, by the way, and I do not give gambling advice. This podcast is not issuing you gambling advice. We are just making the BBB parlay.
It's for JJ. This is for JJ so he can leave. So again, if you're listening, JJ, what casino is he at? What state? Is he in?
Mohegan Sun.
What state is that in?
It's in Connecticut, dude. They play a ton of neutral site basketball games there.
Hard. All right. Utah State -1.5. SLU plus 2.5. UNC money line. Jake hates SLU. Plus 593 at Hard Rock, according to Kevin. Wow. Kevin, empty the bank account. That's how much money you should put on it.
Grant, it's time for us to get Isaac Johnson on the podcast.
We got one more thing. We have to do.
We have to give futures. Futures.
Okay, I'm going to do what I believe Mr. Lidskin has done, and I am going to take. I like Gonzaga to the Sweet 16.
What are you getting that at?
I am getting that at minus 210. Ugh.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I parlayed it with something else.
Okay. I'm gonna go even odds on this. Kansas to not reach the Sweet 16. I think St. John's will beat them.
I like that because I think Northern Iowa can beat them too.
Well, or hold on. Actually, I'm just gonna do St. John's to reach the Sweet 16 at plus 115. Value play.
You can get it at 40 to 1 on FanDuel. I'm going to give it. I'm going to do it again. Kentucky make the Final Four 40 to 1.
You're going to add that in the parlay? Are you?
This is not a parlay. This is a parlay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, give me Michigan State to make the Sweet 16 then.
That is minus 190. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sam,
Give me Iowa State to make the Elite Eight.
Yeah, let's do it. That gets you. Let's see what the odds are. What are the odds on that?
125 minus.
Those odds then all together plus 415. Boom. 2 winners.
All right, you're out of here, Salzman.
All right, we need to get Isaac Johnson on Salzman.
Why is Salzman's background like a doctor's waiting room? I feel like I'm going to like the doctor you go to as a kid.
By the way, one more time. Not a gambling podcast.
Not a gambling podcast.
That is not a great parlay. Yeah, thanks. It's not a gambling podcast.
Thank you, Mr.
Not a gambling podcast. Not giving gambling advice. Not telling you to take any of this. Absolutely not a gambling podcast.
How are you guys doing tonight? College basketball tournament eve.
Long night.
College basketball tournament. What are you? A gambling company?
I'm just checking in on my friends.
All right.
You guys hear that knock? I think it's a little late for the mail.
I hear it. I see some white smoke too.
I didn't realize mail came this late. I just got 2 letters in the mail. 11 o'clock at night. Which one should we open first? Letter 1 or letter 2? I have no idea which is which. I just literally heard
Letter
the door.
Letter 2. Let's go letter 2.
2. That's this one. I have no idea what this is. It's the all first team one shining moment players for the 3rd straight year. Should we explain what this is?
Yes.
This is a tweet that I sent out in March 2023 and replied to a man named Dean Goldstein, or his brother Reed is in our Survivor chat. He actually won the football earlier this year, so he's on riding high.
His dad,
he
Scott,
said,
more curtains than a hotel room.
Scott, not Scott Lidskin, Scott Goldstein. The tweet was like, Marquise Noel, you need to stop pulling up from half court. And my reply, like in the moment, was like, he's trying to make March Madness best moments every time down the floor. And now for the 3rd tournament since, I'm listing my players, and I do my research, as much research as Sam Federman does ahead of the MAC regular season, trying to figure out which players in this year's tournament are going to try to become the next Marquise Noel to try to make a splash here in the tournament. I have 19 names written down. Are you ready?
Ooh, 19?
I know we upgraded this year with a budget.
Then we need a first team, a second team, a third team, and honorable
mention. Yes, that sure. I mean, it's not listed that way, but we can call it that. Number 1 overall player. We literally wrote his name down before I even wrote the title. Nick Boyd, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
do we agree?
Definitely.
Darius Acuff, Arkansas.
That would have been my number 1 name.
All right. A guy who's been in the tournament before. He said game winners in March. Otega Owe. Kentucky's going to need someone to step up the scoring.
Mhm.
Would we agree?
If he gets going in a game, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's go to the mid-major level. Tavari Johnson on Akron.
Oh, yeah.
Very
this
good.
Guy
There's
he was
somebody
born to
else in
score.
that game, by the
There's
way.
somebody else who I would have put, but I think Harrison will get there.
Oh, he's there. Don't worry. A guy who Grant Salzman's going to see in person this week. This guy can put shots up. T.O. Barrett. He's not a high percentage, but he's a high volume guy.
Yeah.
Just like what game was it where he just kept? Was it the Arkansas game or maybe it was the Vandy game where he just kept going? He might be feeling the home crowd a little bit and take like 30 shots. Tamian Lipsey, Iowa State. Was it the conference tournament game last year where he hit a bunch of 3-pointers in a row?
It certainly wasn't the conference tournament game his freshman year.
No.
No. All right.
You might have been right on that.
Another Grant Salzman lover. Robbie Avila.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
I mean, like him being compared to Jokic or whatever. He's gonna be trying to get those no-look passes, trying to make some flashy plays. My favorite name on the list. This is a sleeper. I watched this guy last week, and I'm like, this guy might take 23 pointers in a game if he could. Tyler Nickel Vanderbilt. If he has the chance, he will shoot it.
Every time he catches, he's looking to shoot.
A guy who's been in the tournament before, but now in an increased role. Jeremy Fears, Michigan State.
I mean, he might get on one shining moment for like killing somebody.
A guy who's on this list.
Any way you can.
I can personally guarantee both of you, not a gambling podcast. A guy who will be in one shining moment will be Braden Smith because he's going to get 2 assists to break.
He's going to get the
Bobby Hurley's record, whatever.
Yeah,
he's not on the list. You can't lose to a 16 seed and be on the list. It's in the bylaws.
This is not a murder podcast. Yes, we do not endorse murder.
No, more on that later though. Christian Anderson, Texas Tech. I think we hinted at it a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Now that my favorite player, JT Toppin, is gone, he needs to pick it up. Liberian Philon, Alabama. His teammate just got busted for weed. He's going to have to score. The weed part was
a lot of weed.
Yeah. I mean, what does one do?
95 pounds left.
Not a drug podcast either. No gambling, no drugs. We're just mentioning the facts. Xavier Lee, Florida.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Back to the mid-majors. Chase Johnston, High Point. Is this the guy who only takes through?
I'm done with this Chase Johnston talk. Where was it last year when he played a much bigger role?
Please respect fellow Boca Raton attendee.
Where was the Chase Johnston talk last year when he played 30% more minutes?
He's got a good.
This guy could be the goalkeeper variant. This guy is a goalkeeper.
He played 80% of the minutes. Chase Johnston plays 20% of the minutes.
Oh, if he hits a couple shots, they're not taking him off the floor.
No, the crowd. Where's High Point playing, Federman?
Portland.
Dude, you know those Oregonans. They're gonna get hyped. There's no way that's how you.
I hope you realize High Point is like gonna plane up 3 planefuls of students.
Well, I'm saying they're the local fans who go there as the neutrals just to cheer them on. They're gonna see Chase Johnston shooting the ball like, wow, this is our guy. A white guy playing in Portland. Come on, Federman. All right.
Agree with that.
Another guy in Portland who my namesake, not actually, but right here it is. Isaac Johnson, Hawaii. Had to put him on. Big West. Last of this was Hayden Gray.
You are the Sam Federman of the Big West.
I am the Sam Federman of the Big West. Another mid-major. Cal Baptist. Dominique Daniels Jr. This guy can score. Top 5 scorer in the country.
Well, he's certainly going to try to.
Phil Self. Yeah, he's going to try to get on there. I just had him. I wasn't going to include him. And then, I was just listening. I think I was listening to Ion College Basketball, and they were saying, this guy's going to score 40. And I'm like, all right. AJ DeBanza. It's just he's going, he's the only player on that team. He's going to get high volume. No, Alyssa, this is not a gambling podcast.
Harry, do you know what the record is for points scored in an NCAA tournament game in the 21st century?
51?
It's 42 by Carson Edwards in the Elite Eight.
That's getting broken this year.
DeBanza could break that in the first round.
And they lose it by 8 points.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, Carson Edwards also did it in a loss.
Yeah, but that was
He
against
was a hero. AJ
that was
Bonzo
against the
is
team
a
that
hero.
won the national championship, not
All right.
Matas Vokatitis.
I got three more. Bennett Sturts, Iowa. Just
Yep.
had a TJ Power Penn.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then sleeper, Mikey Lewis from St. Mary's. I know that St.
All
Mary's
right.
isn't like a
Let
high
me
volume
add a
scoring
few.
team, but he's been playing well lately.
Let
Go,
me
Sam.
add a few.
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to start with Bruce Thornton.
Can see it.
I'm going to go to Joe Pinion.
Okay. Yeah, South Florida.
Oh,
I'm going to go across the bracket to Christian Anderson.
He was on there, right?
yes, Texas Tech. Christian
Okay,
Anderson.
I must have missed
Who's on there?
Staying in that part of the bracket, Cruz Davis and Preston Edmeade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then finally, my final name on this list that I'm going to go with, Kingston Flemings.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt you, Sam. My roommate's just being super loud. Hey, quiet down over there.
Daniel.
I mean, I'm trying to do the podcast, trying to talk college basketball, and this guy, my roommate, doesn't pay any rent, sitting on the couch, taking up my seat, wants to heard college basketball being talked about. He's gonna want to talk.
I
mean,
have
also-
I have one to add, by the way.
What did Daniel pick in his bracket?
Daniel filled out a bracket.
I
mean,
have
I have
one.
this letter
I
here,
have
I don't
one
even
guy to
think.
add, by the way, for this. I have one guy to add. It's hard to get centers and forwards on this list because
Mark Mitchell was a name that I considered.
they're not as flashy. Give me a senior playing in the biggest city in the country, his team, I should say, in his final March Madness run, Zubi Ejiofor.
Okay.
I like that. All right, are we done? Good show, guys.
Yeah.
Best
Good
of luck.
list.
Best of luck tomorrow. Thoughts and prayers. Enjoy the tournament.
Open the other letter.
I have not seen this yet. I have not seen what lies.
He gave it
in
to you a
here.
little while ago.
All I saw was the white smoke. It was black smoke all week long. I see Dan's quarters. White smoke coming out of the chimney. They reached a verdict. This is the verdict.
Start from the top.
He has Duke over Siena. Like, you want me to actually go? How do you want me to do
Yes,
this?
every game. Every game.
No, I'm not
Go.
doing every game.
Go.
I'm going to
First-
go for biggest upsets of the first round, then I'll work my way down. Upsets in the East Regional. None. High seeds across the board in the East. In the South, I'm doing bottom. Just follow me.
Do whatever you want.
When was the last time Nebraska won an NCAA tournament game?
Never.
That continues. Dan picking the Trojans of Troy.
Okay.
Liddy, who's the coach of Penn?
Fran McCaffrey.
How many times did he beat Illinois when he was the head coach at Iowa?
Did he ever beat them?
Well, you'd probably know better than I would. If he
He
did,
must have.
he beat him a handful of times, John. He actually had a good record against them.
Okay.
I made that up, but he has Penn beating Iowa. Sorry, Penn beating Illinois. 14-3. That's his biggest
Can we
upset.
get a Penn Iowa Elite Eight game?
Oh, that would be great.
That is possible. Dan does not have that one. He has A&M over St. Mary's. That's another double digit. Top right, West. Utah State. That's not even an upset at this point.
No, they're favorite.
Liddy, what did I tell you earlier this week about people who bet against Wisconsin as a 5 seed? What are they?
The Sharps. They have a lot of success.
What are
too.
they? Historically. If you bet against Wisconsin, not a gamble.
Successful.
The word is profitable. Dan's going with High Point.
Hmm.
He's also picking the winner of NC State Texas over BYU.
Texas.
That game
They won.
happened. Texas won.
Sorry, wait, no, they didn't. I have them beating BYU.
Yeah, Texas.
No,
Okay, I see.
Texas
So,
beat
okay,
NC State.
I see. I slew over Georgia, not an upset. JT Toppin, I'm a big fan of it. Dan's an even bigger fan. He doesn't think Texas Tech can win without him. Akron. And then, Liddy, what did I tell you this week? Who's the number one team Dan will never pick?
The line was Dan. Dan is an SEC homer, but he hates Kentucky.
Dan's picking Santa Clara.
Chalky Dan year.
What do you? She's got a 14, a 12, 13s. Come on.
He's got a 14. Oh, he does have Penn. Yeah.
All right. Elite Eights. Chalk in the East. Duke and Michigan State. He's got Duke in the Final Four. Midwest. Sorry, South. He's got Vandy beating Florida again. And then Vandy beating Houston at the Toyota Center. Vandy gets to the Final Four.
An SEC bias is really catching up to the monkey.
Gets there.
SEC homer. He's such an SEC homer.
I'll send you a picture of this also. Midwest. West. Arkansas. Calipari beats Arizona. He loves Calipari. I don't know what happened. Dan used to fade him. He's picking Cal. Who does he have Cal playing in the Elite Eight? Fight on, Missouri Tigers. The 10 seed gets to the Elite Eight, but loses to Calipari. And Arkansas is in the Final Four. In the Midwest. Michigan gone in round 2. The Billies get him. Alabama versus Iowa State in the Elite Eight. Iowa State Final Four. Duke over Vandy.
Did we just get frozen Dan?
Yeah, dude, Dan got frozen. Oh, no.
Dan frozen.
Dan was about to give his title pick, and he got frozen.
This is unbelievable. Mort must have sent in the militia.
Hold on, I'm kicking Harrison out and telling him to rejoin.
That was incredible. We're bringing Salzman on to analyze that.
That was the best podcast moment of the year.
I knew Dan was going to have madness, but Mizzou, he's such a homer. He hates Mizzou.
He's an SEC homer.
He did wear that bib around he's still wearing the Mizzou bib around him. He loves Mizzou. He loves the Billies too.
I cannot believe Dan froze.
I'm surprised Dan doesn't have Hofstra winning. I really thought Dan would go Hofstra, but he loves the SEC too much.
He does. He loves the SEC.
And Dan loves criminals. So it kind of Nate Oates, Dean Holloway, it evens out in the wash.
All right.
Just to review, his Final Four was Duke, Vandy, Arkansas, Iowa State, and he had Duke over Vandy. Dan, welcome back.
My apartment complex warned me the Wi-Fi would be not great this week. Another great week to just mess with it. Where was I?
We think that Mort may have hijacked Dan's stream.
Mort, where did I get cut off?
We gave the Duke over Vandy pick.
Duke over Vandy, Arkansas over Iowa State. Duke and Arkansas, they played in Chicago on Thanksgiving. Who won?
Liddy? I was there.
Who won?
Duke did.
He's got Duke doing it again. Duke cuts down the nets in Indy just like they did in 2010 and 2015 and probably another time before then.
2001, I think.
He's got Shire and the Blue Devils. Beating Calipari in the national championship. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniels 2026. Again, people forget. Dan has picked the biggest upset for 3 consecutive years. He will do it again.
Thank you, Mr. Isaac Johnson. Thank you, Mr. Dan.
I will send you a picture of this.
All right.
I will be scheduling this for Twitter in the morning.
Scheduling.
To go over my bracket one last time, and Jonathan, you'll do the same.
Yep.
Duke, TCU, St. John's, Kansas, USF, Michigan State, UCLA, UConn. Duke, St. John's, Michigan State, UConn. Duke, Michigan State, Michigan State. Arizona, Utah State, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Texas, Gonzaga, Miami, Purdue. Arizona, Wisconsin, Gonzaga, Miami. Arizona, Gonzaga, Arizona. Michigan, St. Louis, Texas Tech, Alabama. Tennessee, Virginia, Santa Clara, Iowa State. Michigan, Texas Tech, Virginia, Iowa State. Michigan, Iowa State, Michigan. Florida, Iowa, Vandy, Nebraska. UNC, Illinois, Texas A&M, Houston. Florida, Vandy, Illinois, Houston. Florida, Houston, Florida. Michigan State, Florida, Florida. Arizona, Michigan, Arizona, Florida. Arizona wins the national championship, 84-78.
I'll do it in the same
order. Most
order.
outstanding player of the Final Four is Jaden Bradley.
I'll do it in the same order you just did. Duke, Ohio State, St. John's, Kansas, Louisville, Michigan State, UCLA, UConn, Duke, St. John's, Michigan State, UCLA, St. John's, Michigan State to the Final Four. Arizona, Utah State, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Texas, Gonzaga, Miami, Purdue, Arizona, Arkansas, Gonzaga, Miami, Arizona, Miami, Arizona to the Final Four. Michigan, St. Louis, Texas Tech, Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, Iowa State, Michigan, Alabama, Virginia, Iowa State, Michigan, Iowa State, Michigan wins in Chicago to get to the Final Four. Florida, Clemson, Vandy, Nebraska, UNC, Illinois, St. Mary's, Houston, Florida, Vandy, Illinois, Houston, Florida, Houston in their home city gets to the Final Four. Michigan State versus Houston. Houston knocks them off. Arizona, Michigan, Arizona sets up the third meeting between Arizona and Houston this season. Arizona wins the national title, the first for Tommy Lloyd. Braden Berry's most outstanding player of the Final Four. He's been their best player, in my opinion, over the last month.
All right, Jonathan.
Good
That
stuff,
was one
man.
of our favorite episodes of the year every year.
Always the best. Always the best.
And we always go way longer than we think we're going to go.
Yeah. I actually thought this was going to be like 3 hours, but we were efficient.
Well, I think Dan took a little while.
Dude, Dan was causing ruckus all week.
There was so much black smoke.
He kept tweeting black smoke on his Twitter account.
All right, Jonathan, you want to take us home?
Yeah, one last thing. For those of you that have questions about Dan and how his bracket gets chosen, I've asked Harrison. I'm like, how do you?
By the way, Harrison, for those of you who don't know, is the guy who was just on
Isaac Johnson.
The guy who was just on the pod was Harrison. The guy before that was Grant.
Dan has made picks at a lot of things, and once upon a time, I asked Harrison, I'm like, hey, like, how do you do these Dan's picks? How do you know who Dan picks? His response was simple. He tells me. So that's all you need to know. If you came to hear about Tyler Self and where he's working, you came to the right place. If you came to hear about Dan the Monkey's NCAA tournament picks, you came to the right place. And if you came to hear about the latest happenings with Caleb Grill, you came to the right place. This has been Season 6, Episode 99 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers. The next time we are live, 16 first-round games will have been played. 16 more we will have to go. Enjoyed one of the best days on the sports calendar, and we'll see you next time.